Team Connecticut looking to resume its dominance.
Yeah, over Rhode Island. Andy Guyon, the head coach at Xavier, and also the head coach of the Connecticut All-Stars, joining us. Thanks so much for spending an evening with us.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So you had you've got your roster of 55. How did you come about that over the last couple of weeks?
We had a tryout at Hill House. We had a combine. We ran the kids through offense, defense, a bunch of drills. Got them to do some stuff together against each other, and kind of took it from there. And we ranked them as coaches and went out and had dinner and picked our squad.
So we're calling it the Governor's Cup, and before we get into your team and your team at Xavier High School, let's quickly talk about this, because this was a competition that we saw go on year to year. It was a competition that Connecticut pretty much dominated, that had always been played in Connecticut, but some things are changing about it now, as Rhode Island finally said enough is enough, but now the game has been resumed. So talk about how that
so it was a thing where we had done really well for a bunch of years, and finally in 2012 they said that they didn't want to do it anymore, and it was kind of sad, because that was one of the best games we had against them. We only won 14-8. We had to have an interception in the red zone in the last 30 seconds to get the win. So there were some of us who were saying, well, why are we discontinuing this? But nonetheless we did. And so now it's come back. The interstate game, not that it didn't have interest or luster, but I think it kind of just ran its course, and we wanted to get it back to where we were playing Rhode Island again, or somebody else. And
you're talking about the Super 100 that you played for 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
And now it's going to alternate, right?
Yes, we're going to go next year. They're going to go to Rhode Island, so that's pretty cool. I think that's fair, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially with the kids. Most of the kids who are playing on the team are going to be playing in college. So it'll get them used to getting on a bus and going to a destination and dealing with all that stuff. So a little bit different than high school buses.
This year's game will be this summer, the 29th, will be at Rentschler?
Yep, June 30th at Rentschler.
Oh, June 30th, okay. And we're seeing some guys, we've got highlights here, some of your guys. There's a Gottfried running for a touchdown, I believe, against
I guess
guys.
That's great.
But you've got guys from really every part of the state, right?
Yes, we do. We were fortunate in the kids that did come out are extremely talented. Representing most of the conferences in the state, from the FCAC to the SEC, the ECC, the SWC. They're all there, and then obviously the CCC. So we're real excited about it.
So I thought we were having trouble getting FCI kids involved in this thing. You have some FCI
Yeah,
kids?
we've got 1 or 2 that managed to come that day. We've got the receiver from St. Joe's, Malazzi, so we're really excited about that kid.
Two-time All-State.
Yeah, he's very, very talented. And then we also have the tight end from Fairfield Ludlow. So we got him to come out.
And what has it been? And will you talk about the history and the domination that Connecticut has had? Why has it been that way? Because you're 2 similar size areas that you're recruiting from.
In 2003, Coach Jude Kelly brought me on the staff when he did it, and we played at New Britain, and that was the first time we had won against New Britain in quite a while, and that set us on the streak. I think we took it very seriously when we were asked to be part of the staffs. We all made sure that we made the commitment, and we met, and it was very, very important to us that we did well and that we coached the kids the right way and made sure that they had a great experience. And not that Rhode Island didn't, because when they showed up, those kids were always very tough, very well coached. They played really hard, but we just ended up having a little bit more in the tank at the end.
Yeah, and you have 10 days of practice time, roughly 2 weeks before this game.
Yep.
So are you, not that you're doing it every hour because you're teaching and all of that, but are you preparing now, and what is the philosophy of getting them ready in 10 days?
The biggest thing is, can we come together as a team? And that's where we've always focused on whenever we've done these is, yes, we have to learn the schemes, and yes, we have to learn each other's names. But at the same time, we've got to do our job as coaches of not only coaching them up, but making them come together. And that's really where we've been successful, is coming up with different themes, T-shirts, slogans, bracelets, all these different things. And it helps that the coaches, we all get along
You
really
got a
well.
sample of those slogans yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
I do, but no,
He's-
not yet.
You got one, but
hold
not
on.
for us.
We could use one for our group. Maybe you can.
So let me change the subject here just for a minute, if I may. You've taken over. This was last year was your first year, having
Yes,
taken
sir.
over for your buddy Sean Marinan.
Yep.
Talk to me about taking over at Xavier High School and what you got coming up. And Xavier always been one of those teams out of a powerful conference that has always done very well.
Yeah, taking over for Sean was a blessing and a curse at the same time. He's one of my best friends, and so I feel privileged and honored to be able to carry on what we've built there and what he did. So that's awesome. But it was challenging. You know, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that you sit there and you want to do things your way, and maybe they're not exactly the way that they should be done. So you've got to adjust, and that's really kind of where we are right now, is getting that pendulum, trying to figure out where we need it to be in order for us to be successful again.
And I know you're young coming back for next year, but
Yes, sir.
experienced.
Yeah, we've got some kids, who maybe not in the quarterback position.
Yeah, Will Levis.
yeah.
Is he already up at Penn State?
Not yet. He's leaving. Actually, he's leaving before graduation. But also in the skill, we've got a pretty good offensive line, and we got a bunch of tight ends. So we're very excited about that, and we're going to be much better on defense.
Like that old USC team running the football,
Yes,
right?
yes, a lot of student body left and right.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Coach, it was great having you in.
Thank you
We're
very
going to be building up to this big game coming up.
There
in,
will be a
in
practice.
June.
Yep,
We'll be
great.
at practice, and of course, we'll be at the game at Renster Field. Thanks so much for coming down.
Thank you very much.
And